Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. We're finishing up our coverage of the NFL divisional future odds here in the AFC before we switch over to the NFC. And right now we're taking a look at the bottom half of the AFC West division, and more specifically the Oakland Raiders, who come in as huge plus 2,000 underdogs to win this division this season. Now obviously the Raiders had a disappointing season in 2012 and they're trying to rebound from that now as Dennis Allen and company are trying to retool this roster into a contender in the AFC West. Now they showed a little bit of signs of promise last season, but they've blown up enough to where it seems like they're starting over, at least for the most part. And I do think that's going to have a huge effect on the Raiders' value. Now traditionally, the Raiders are a pretty overvalued team. They're not in these divisional odds, but it remains to be seen what their odds will look like once the preseason and regular season roll around in August and September. However, looking at them right now, I cannot say that the Oakland Raiders are going to be very good both straight up or against the spread, nor do I think they're going to be a good bet at all in any sort of future odds whatsoever. Now, with Matt Flynn coming in, he's sort of the wild card in this, because if he can play like people seem to believe he can play, because no one seemed to give him a chance just yet. We've thought we've had him give him a chance, but not so far. But if Matt Flynn can come in and play well and get this offense moving, and of course if Run DMC Darren McFadden can stay healthy, this offense has a little bit of value, and I think their defense will be retooled under Dennis Allen and try to get at least a solid contender on the field. They were not such last season, and they were solidly overvalued in the odds last season. They were 1-4 against the spread as favorites last season, and the few times they were favored. Not very good, and 5-11 overall against the spread last season. They did show some poise though against that division, going 3-3 against the spread. So while I'm not completely and utterly writing off the Raiders right now as a fade, like I have the Jacksonville Jaguars or a couple of other teams, I do think that the Raiders are leaning towards being a fade this season, both in the future odds and in the game odds. I don't see a whole lot of value coming off of the Raiders. They could in some instances, but they're one of those teams, much like the Titans and all those other teams that I've been mentioning about in the past, that we're going to have to see something on the field before we make a definitive view as to what kind of value they're going to have. Right now, everything is just speculation. But until the regular season and preseason comes around, thanks for joining me once again. I'm Jordan Sharp.